Coincidentally, this time last week, we were talking to the son, Brian Manning, of former Prime Minister Patrick Manning. And now, coincidentally, this week, we're going to be talking to Mickela Panday, daughter of former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Patriotic Panday. Let's welcome Mickela via Zoom this morning. Mickela, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on. Since launching your Patriotic Front party roughly a year ago, it's gone somewhat dormant or silent, if you want to say that. What's the latest on it? What's the latest with you?
Oh, well, first of all, again, thank you for having me, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, a year ago on the 25th, the party was launched. We announced the party's name, the party's symbol. And since then, what we've been trying to do is really put together the right team, perhaps, and also so that to get the mechanisms within the party functioning. And forming a new party is not an easy thing. And some people can make it look easier than others, but it does take a bit of time. But we feel comfortable and happy now with the team that we have, what the party stands for. Yeah, so we're good and ready and looking forward to the general election.
So what is the plan for general elections for the Patriotic Front?
Well, we intend to contest the general election 2020 and all 41 seats as well. I think that that's very important. We've been asked if we would contest all or if we may contest a few. I think it's very important to contest all because you have to have faith in yourself and that you can win. And I think that it sends the wrong message, perhaps, to not go for it completely.
Do you see yourself, within going after 41 seats here across Trinidad and Tobago, what are your realistic hopes for this? What are your aspirations for the general elections as a one-year-old party?
I don't think the age of the party matters. Of course, it's going to be perhaps difficult in the sense where the party is young and it will have its teething problems. But what everybody else who enters an election hopes for their party, and that is to win.
Well, it's certainly up. You're certainly up against a very, very difficult tide here. But your dad spoke, extensively on his aspirations and his hopes for the future for this political party, Patriotic Front. Even if it's not for this particular general elections, he does have some, he does have some really encouraging words for the future of this party. So what are you hoping to build with this Patriotic Front? It's been a year. You're going to contest 41 seats. What do you hope that this really builds into?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to, we will be here, let's put it that way, for the long term, for the long run. I mean, you've got to try, win, lose or draw, and give it your best shot. And obviously, like I said before, anybody contesting an election, their aim is to win. But our premise, our principle really is to try and unite the country, because first and foremost, before anything else, we're patriots, hence the name of the party. So to unite the country and sort of move away from the tribal politics and the divide on race and even sometimes geography that we have seen in this country, and not to split it up into sections, but to bring it together. Because ultimately, I think we all want the same thing, regardless of where we live, color, creed, class, race, gender. We all want the same thing. We want to live in a country that's safe. We want to have food, clothing, shelter, good sanitization, a good healthcare system that delivers good healthcare delivery, a good education system, job security. And I think ultimately we all want the same thing. So to divide the country and to continue with the sort of tribal politics that we have seen for such a long time, really, to move away from that and to really start for people to be given the opportunity based on meritocracy and their ability before anything else.
Do you see yourself aligning with any other political party?
We've been in different talks. I mean, one of the things that I think is very important before people talk about coalitions, and we can look at the past and we can look at history and we can see whether they've failed, and some people will think it was a success and others may think otherwise. Yes, of course. Like, I don't think that you can speak unity and alienate anybody. So yes, you talk to all political parties and different people from different parties who approach you. Ultimately, though, I believe that we need to be on the same ground. We have to believe the same thing. Basic principles, foundation, philosophies need to be the same. Otherwise, you kind of unite and for the sole purpose of winning the election. And I think the hard work really starts when you win.
What do you make of the current political atmosphere in Trinidad and Tobago? We're some months away from a general elections.
I don't think it has changed very much from last year or the year before. I think people in general are feeling a bit fed up. I think people are feeling a little bit hopeless. Of course, we've had this terrible COVID-19 pandemic, and people tend to when these crises come up, go into survival mode. But politically, now that things have seemed to, or at least appear to be settling down, I do think that people are looking for a change. And I do think that people want to hear something different. I do think that people want to move away from the busmark politics to listen to political parties, to listen to what they're going to do for the country, how they're going to improve their lives, how they're going to take the country forward. And I think a lot of people are interested in policy and are really fed up of perhaps the same revolving door of the two major parties and would like to see something else.
All right, Mickela, please stay with us. We have to take a very quick break, but we want to continue this conversation. Yeah. When we come back on the Morning Brew, what does Mickela Panday make of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's leadership? She'll answer that next. We're talking with Mickela Panday, the political leader of the Patriotic Front party, and also daughter of former Prime Minister Basto Panday. Mickela, do you get that tag a lot, I would imagine? Daughter of former Prime Minister Basto Panday.
Yes, because that's who I am. That is part of who I am.
That is part of who you are, certainly.
Absolutely.
Somehow I'll have to stick around with political leader of the Patriotic Front.
Yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. But
so let's talk a little bit about how do you view yourself, Mickela? Do you see yourself as a political activist, as a political commentator, both?
I think a political activist, definitely. As you know, I did write for The Guardian for some time, and in that aspect, yes, I was a commentator. But now it's different. You're part of a political party. You're part of a team trying to make a difference in your country. And so from one step to the other, you sort of think, well, I no longer want to be an armchair critic and simply criticize what should be done or what is not being done. And to really just sort of say, listen, I want to get in there, do my part to make my country a better place. So commentator, perhaps not. Critic, perhaps not. Activist, yes. I think all politicians are activists. So, yes.
You have a lot of fans in Trinidad and Tobago, and many of those fans would say to you, or probably will say behind your back, but you could have joined the United National Congress, the party that your father founded. You chose to cut your own trail. Why?
Yeah. Thank you so much for being so kind and saying that I have so much fun. Thank you. That's so sweet. Well, it sort of goes back. I was always a member of the UNC. At one stage, I believe that I was a lifetime member, and then I don't know what happened from then. But you have to believe in what you support. And I feel that the time has come for me to take a different road. I think that we have enough young, bright, honest, hardworking young people, together with obviously people that have experience, to make true change in this country. And the party was not going in the direction that I hoped it would have. But they'll always be my family.
How do you answer those who say...
Sorry?
How do you answer those who say it's sour grapes? That Mickela Panday didn't want to join the United National Congress because Kamala Persad-Bissessar appended her father?
Oh, absolutely not. I've known Kamala since I was, 10 years old in 1988. Of course not. It's not sour grapes. Politics is not to be taken personally. That's the way that I see it. So you can't put yourself before everything else. You can't say, for example, I didn't get something or it's not about self, and I continuously say that in politics, many people say, I'm ready to put country before self. But I'll tell you something, that is one of the hardest things to do because it entails a lot of sacrifice personally, of your family, of your career. So it's not a very easy thing to do or an easy decision to make. And for me, it was not an easy decision to make. But then again, like I say, it'll never be anything politics. I've known most of these people all my life. And I love them and I care for them and I wish them the best. Our views of how we should do things and what we want for the country has now diverged and are going on separate paths. That doesn't have to mean that you're enemies.
Former Prime Minister Patriotic Front said that the UNC has lost its way. Realistically, what do you think are the UNC's chances at the polls?
No, I mean, I don't know. I can't say. I mean, election, and again, I think
what are the PNM's chances? Let me ask you, let me break it down a little bit easier. If the elections were to be called next week, who do you think would win?
The Patriotic Front, obviously.
answered like former Prime Minister Patriotic Front, indeed. You really have to be his daughter. What do you make of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's leadership?
I believe that anybody's leadership, including the prime ministers, and this is as open as I can possibly be, will be judged by the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I do not feel it is for me to judge, and I do not feel it is for me as another political leader to judge. It's the people that judge. You are there and given the trust, and people put faith in you for 5 years to improve their lives. To make them feel safer, to provide job security, to deal with the economy in such a way that the future is secure. And if it is the people, and it really, an election is why an election is such a great thing, because that is where the people will come and they will say, well, listen, I think you've done a good job, or you haven't done a good job. Again, for me, it comes back to, I'm hoping also in Trinidad that we move away from the voting out politics, and hopefully this election wouldn't be so taken up with mudslinging and people busting mark, but really talking about policy. And of course the government will talk about what they've done, and the people who live on everyday lives will be able to judge on the day and say, well, listen, I think you did fulfill the promises that you made, or I think you didn't.
You talk about the voting out politics. Do you also believe that Trinidad and Tobago as a population should also move away from this two-party system way of voting?
Yes. Voting out, it tends to happen, this two-party system. So what you see happening is, you get upset after 5 years, and then you vote somebody out because you only have two major choices. And then within the next 2 years, you start getting upset again. And then by the end of the fifth year, you're thoroughly fed up and you vote out. And yes, I think that there must be some kind of constitutional reform to give other parties a chance.
Let's talk a little bit about the Patriotic Front. Your father says that, and I don't want to misquote him here, but he says it'll bring a different style of politics to Trinidad and Tobago. He even ventured to say that it will one day be one of the best political parties across the Caribbean. What is that style?
Have you really been saying all of this? I haven't heard this. actually very happy and very proud.
You haven't been talking to your dad. You haven't been talking to your dad as much, or at least not about politics.
No, not so much about politics. More about gardening and things like that. No, I forgive me. I did not know that he said that. I'm quite happy. I should.
What is this different style of politics that you hope to bring to the table?
Again, it comes back to unity. A lot of people, the two major political parties, let's put it this way, continuously speak about accountability, about transparency, about meritocracy. And I think it's been a lot of talk and not so much, no action. What I think is important as well is that we must unite Trinidad and Tobago. And the politics of today seems to want to do the absolutely opposite and to sort of polarize the country. And I think when the Patriotic Front is able to unite this country and for us to realize that we are a small country of only 1.3 million people and that we can absolutely live in harmony and in peace and be productive and have efficient services working when we work together, as opposed to working against each other and having this sort of it's weak time now. We are one country, one small country that has been extremely blessed with wonderful weather and resources and so many different things. My own view is the only way that we could move forward and reach our true potential is united. And that is what I think makes the Patriotic Front different. And that is why I think, first and foremost, we have to say, listen, we are patriots.
We understand that you're going to be contesting all 41 seats. That's a lot of screening to do. How is your screening process going?
Well, we are going to start our screening process, and it's going to have to be a little bit more modern. It can't, because we do believe that we will be following the same sort of rules and regulations and things like that. But yeah, I'm not worried. I have to be honest with you. 41 candidates. Trinidad and Tobago has so many young people, so many people with experience, so many, like I said before, bright, intelligent, hardworking, honest, committed young people who are willing to serve and who want to be part of the electoral process and who want to get into politics, but who don't want to be part. They don't want to be part of either of the two bigger parties, and really want to come in and make a change from a clean slate. So I'm not worried about it at all. What
role will former Prime Minister Mickela Panday play in your political party?
What role will he play? Oh, you know, if he was on, he would probably tell you something like currant roll or egg roll or some kind of thing like that. He has been and will always be a wonderful advisor. He has a great amount of experience in politics, over half of his life. So he's a wonderful person to go to, and I feel very lucky to have him to go to for guidance in what we need. But we would also like, as a young party, to forge our own way. And that's why I think the beauty of the Patriotic Front will be youth and experience combining to get the best force out there to win the general election, and I think that we can do it.
I'm not sure if you had a chance, and I have to head to the 7 o'clock news now, Mickela, but just very quickly, I'm not sure if you had the chance to look at the Prime Minister's press conference yesterday. What did you make of it and all the front pages of today's newspapers?
I mean, at the end of the day, the Prime Minister, I listened to his press conference. Only the Prime Minister will know what the truth is, and it is up to us, the population, to say, well, yes, we believe, or no, we don't believe. It is a difficult question for me to answer because I don't have the information, nor have access to the information that he has. So it is now up to the public. He has said his part, and whether we believe it or not, whether the population believes it or not, and how we move forward from here.
Mickela Panday, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it, and good luck in your political life.
Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you.
Political leader of the Patriotic Front, Mickela Panday, and also daughter of former Prime Minister Bastio Panday, talking to us on the Morning Brew as she heads into a general elections. The big news coming out of that interview, a party just over 1 year old, it has decided that it will contest all 41 seats here in Trinidad and Tobago. Very ambitious. We'll have to continue following how Mickela Panday's Patriotic Front does.